Ford and General Motors both down with the rest of the market. This on word that Mother Nature hit auto sales hard in January. Phil LeBeau assessing the damage for us. Hey, Phil.
Ugly numbers, Kelly. Any way you look at it, ugly numbers for the month of January for the auto industry. In fact, when you look at the sales pace, compare where we came in January versus the annual sales pace, 15.24 million for the month of January. And there you can see many people saying, well, listen, we should have been up closer to 15.6, 15.7. Fell well short of that. What was the problem? Well, sales in the eastern half of the United States were well below expectations. In fact, on the eastern half of the U.S. and in central U.S., they were down 10%, according to Ford. That's for the industry, not just for Ford. And the automakers say the problem is that there simply weren't people coming in to the showrooms. Traffic was down. Picked up a little bit in the middle of the month when the storms went away, but then it got bad towards the end of the month again. The good news is that they are not changing guidance when it comes to sales for February or for the first quarter. Take a look at these numbers. I said they were bad, all below expectations. Chrysler, even though it was up 8%, that was below expectations. Stocks, they took it on the chin today, especially GM and Ford, selling off probably with the rest of the market, but these numbers did not help. If there's any good news here, Kelly, it's the fact that I've talked with a few dealers today, and all of them have said the same thing. They do believe that the weather kept people out of showrooms, and they do believe that people will return, weather permitting, this month.
Wow, Phil, and stay with us if you will. At this point, I want to bring in auto expert Lauren Fix, also known as the car coach, for more on these auto numbers and her overall read on the economy using autos as a barometer. Lauren, welcome. And is this weakness really all just about the weather?
Thank you. Well, part of it is the weather, and the other thing is a lot of consumers have just seen the LA and Detroit auto shows with a lot of new product. And if you want to buy the new Kia K900 or the new Mini Cooper, you're going to have to wait for it to get in showrooms, and everyone's saying spring. Just as Jeep actually had a really good month, up 38%. The reason for that is new product is finally getting into dealerships. They had some manufacturing delays. So that's part of it. But then on the other side, you have to look at all the incentives out there. You can only milk this market so much. And the average price of a car being sold, that gross number, is down 1.2%, bringing the average price of cars down to about $29,800 a vehicle. And consumers can only be, with the economy, you got tax returns and the weather, I think all three together sort of hit their own polar vortex.
Well, and Phil, what I wonder too, and I'm sure it's important for all of these auto stocks and manufacturing more broadly, is whether auto sales, in terms of the new auto sales, have peaked. I mean, 2013 was such a strong year. Is that as good as it gets for the time being?
No, I don't think so. Not when you look at the production schedules and what the automakers are expecting. Now, look, if we have 2 or 3 months where we come in at 15.2 or 15.4 million as the sales rate, then we're going to see people adjust their expectations lower. But right now, Kelly, the expectation is that overall sales for the industry will be about 16.3 million for this year. Compare that with 15.6 million for last year.
And Lauren, what about you?
I think we're looking at somewhere between 16.1 and 16.4. It's really hard to tell because it's not just the weather. It has to do with the product. It has to do with the economy. And remember, people are still waiting for the tax bill to come in. That's going to be impacted by our current on-again, off-again economy. We had a dip in the stock market. And we've got Obamacare, which could impact individuals to the point where they don't buy that new car and hold off on that purchase. And these are all factors that are very difficult to predict.
And Phil, I just want to ask, to that point, there's been more suggestion lately, given the broad-based weakness we've seen across some major retailers, that maybe it is the healthcare premiums related to Obamacare that are taking more of a bite out of here than people had expected. Anything anecdotally that you're picking up on that?
In fact, I asked that question about 5 minutes ago to an auto dealer in Kansas City. He laughed and he said, I've never heard that suggested yet. And I've brought this up to others in the auto industry. Nobody thinks that the increased premiums might be keeping people from going into a showroom and buying a new vehicle. Keep in mind, Kelly, when you look at the leasing rates that are out there and the interest rates that are being offered, if you want a car for $170 a month, you can get one for $170 a month.
No, I know.
It's never been cheaper. And so that suggestion has been floated out there. I've not heard that from anybody in the industry.
All right, going to leave it there, guys. Lauren, great to see you. Phil, thanks very much for all the detail, and especially, look, if it was that part of the country where we saw weather, you can understand some of the weakness, too.